her
We are
friends, like,
back.
oh,
Oh,
So,
all right.
what you got next?
Well, it was a
let's
very,
go
very good
to
conversation.
let's just talk about that instead of wrestling. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, we were talking about Charlotte Flair's surgery that she got, but that's a topic for another day. I do want to talk about Monday Night Raw last night. We saw some crazy stuff, and I'm talking about we saw a couple of injuries, but the worst injury that we saw that everyone is talking about is JD Madonna. JD Madonna, and I hate to say this is going to sound ridiculous. He almost decapitated himself last night on
Yeah,
Monday Night Raw.
that was fucking horrendous.
It was
Yeah,
an
it was.
ugly bump. He smacked his head, his neck, and his back hard on the edge of the announce table after doing a springboard moonsault from the ropes to the floor. First, my first question to you guys about this spot was a War Raider guy, was he supposed to catch him? Because it looked like he kind of just like did the complete opposite and threw JD Madonna against the announce table. Or how did you guys see this? What did you guys think about it when you guys first saw it?
Who's going first?
Go ahead.
To me, I went back and watched it from a couple different angles. This just looked like a freak accident. Um, Obviously, when you're a smaller guy landing on a bigger guy, you're gonna bounce off a motherfucker, regardless if they catch you or not. To me, it was just A, B, C, and D lined up to E, and unfortunately, E meant him basically getting propelled like a spring backwards. Never, never really took it more than just a freak accident. Obviously, there was nothing malicious there, so to speak. It doesn't help that his head's 50 pounds heavier than his body, and the momentum didn't fucking stop him.
Yep.
I had to make the joke at least one time.
Yep.
I didn't think his injuries were that severe. I think if anything, it was just a real bad case of whiplash. I didn't even think about broken ribs or punctured lung or anything like that.
No, I would have
But
figured all neck stuff.
yeah. But going back and seeing what he did afterwards and was still able to perform to that caliber, I'm not as hard on the match as I was.
Yeah.
Obviously, he did the best he could with what he had at the time. So yeah,
Yeah.
to me, it was just a freak accident. And again, I'm not the biggest JD McDonough Farquad dude, friend guy fan at all. But at no point do we ever want to see anybody get hurt, especially to this extent.
No,
He's
and
basically taking himself out of WrestleMania.
yeah, it looked horrific. I could have seen, massive whiplash or even a slip disc in his neck or something like that. The punctured lung, I would have never guessed. That was obviously from the rib, but it looked much more devastating to his neck. But that being said, it was obviously a freak accident. It looks horrific. We wish him the best without question.
Mm-hmm.
He's the worst one hurt, obviously. But ever since the WWE went to the non-gimmick tables, there have been a lot of really dangerous close calls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they did that, but Jaden McDonough is definitely the only one to get injured, but I can't imagine how people aren't getting hurt on some of these spots on that table.
Yeah. And I feel personally, if it was the older gimmick tables that did move, that the injury wouldn't have been as nearly as bad. It'd been more absorbed by the table.
Right.
But he basically hit a fucking wall last night.
Yeah.
with that new gimmick table.
Yeah,
To
those
me,
tables are
I
fucking
originally thought that
solid.
table. Yeah, I originally thought that table was just for like the Raw Netflix premiere, because when we saw the setup for that, the Netflix premiere, and then came back to Raw the next week, everything was back to normal, but the fucking table.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it
and
was a dumb
what does
idea.
that do? And what does that do for table spots in big time matches? Do we just completely cut those out now? Do we just pull tables out from under the ring now? Like
Yeah,
the commentary table in itself has been able to tell so many stories
yep.
in the past 3-4 decades. It's hard to just imagine that that's taken away now.
It's gone. I don't get it. They put a steel building 6 feet away from the ring. Like, that thing will not move. Dumb decision. Like, I would not be surprised if we see more injuries from that table.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that table after JD's incident.
Really, you think they'll just go back to it immediately, the gimmicked one?
I mean, let's play devil's advocate. How many more people's got to get hurt before they do something about it?
No, I know. Like I said, there's been a couple of really close calls also. I can't quite remember with the matches, but there have been a couple of
Braun's been
times
one
where I
of
was
them.
like, oh, fuck.
Remember, Braun went fucking basically head first into the corner of it a few years
Yeah,
back.
there's one. Yeah.
And he's not exactly slow when he's fucking taking off.
Mm-mm.
Maybe this is that eye-opening situation where they go, you know what, maybe this wasn't a good idea.
Maybe, hopefully.
Put that table up.
What do you
And
think
if
of
they
the
want to
situation?
and if they want a table like that, go back to how they did Raw like 2003, where they had the table up there by the fucking stage.
Right.
I mean, they had the Saturday night's main event fucking podium thing. Just put the fucking table there.
Yep. Especially if that the table's not going to come into play like it used to. Fuck it. Get it out of there.
Well, even when it was up there, it came into play.
Yeah. What do you think, Good?
Well, like you guys mentioned already, after that spot, JD Madonna went to Twitter or X to give us an update. And yeah, he confirmed that he has broken ribs, which I thought was crazy because I thought for sure he had broken his neck. Luckily, that wasn't the case. He was able to get up, finish the match, which he got a lot more respect from the fans. He got a standing ovation as soon as he got up. And the thing that he posted on Twitter was, first off, thanks to everyone for the messages and the concern. I'm good. I've got a couple of broken ribs and a punctured lung, so I'm going to be out for a couple of months. All things considered, it could have been a lot worse, so I'm grateful for that. I knew he was going to be out for a while, especially after Dakota Kai got taken out after taking a drop kick. She's going to be out, so I said for sure JD Madonna is going to be out. There were some videos going around the internet of JD Madonna collapsing on his way to Gorilla after the match. But the craziest thing about that is even after that spot, he took a nasty knee to the back of the neck by one of the War Raiders, like maybe 3 minutes after that spot. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys thinking? What I mean, did you guys see that spot, or were you guys
I
thinking
thought it
like,
was a. I sent a message to Draven. I was like, "That's a badass move. I want to start using that." Not even putting two and two together that the dude just broke his fucking neck. Not even caring about that. But like, I can use that fucking move. That was dope, man.
yeah,
That
it
was a dope
was,
move.
yeah. But like, do you guys do that? Like, is that something that wrestlers should like avoid? Like, hey, this guy just fucking
Well,
hit his neck hella hard. Maybe let's not hit him on the neck again.
not just that, but you've got fuck, I had it on the tip of my tongue. But Ivar was the one who caught that moonsault. I don't think Eric was anywhere near, and he was the one who delivered the knee. So
Mhm.
it's possible it didn't get transferred over and talk, although that's not a fucking excuse because it should have. But
Yeah, they're always communicating, all four of those guys, especially with the ref too. Like the ref has to let them know what's going on, I feel like.
yeah,
Well, and this is going to break kayfabe a little bit here. Going back to that conversation you just had about the whole strike in the neck. Legitimately, I would say 2% legitimately of anything that we do actually legit targets the neck. Um, Most of the time, and I won't say 100% of the time because it does happen most of the time, moves that target the neck is really just hitting high on the shoulders.
mm-hmm.
It's never really hitting the vertebrae in your actual neck. Do fuck ups happen? Yes. You know, I'm fucking living proof of it. But at the same time, I can see how you're weary of that particular maneuver, the full Nelson into the knee strike. But if you go back and if you slow it down, you'll see that he hits right at the top of the shoulder blades, right before the neck. So to me, other than just more risk of whiplash, it was a perfectly safe move. And Eric's used that move since like 2013 when he was working Ring of Honor. So it's not like it's something he saw on BDWJ. I was like, ooh, I want to try that tonight. I
But
mean,
unfortunately, the placement that we would hit is where his broken ribs were.
but at the time, none of us thought anything about broken ribs. We were all thinking whiplash, concussion, ain't nothing even looked relatively anything close to a rib injury.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was working concussed.
Hmm.
I mean, when the tweet went out this morning, I looked, I was like, you gotta be fucking shitting me.
Dude, when he hit that table, I was waiting for Pez to shoot out of his neck. That fucking his head went in, so far back you can't even fucking imagine. It was
Right?
crazy.
Again, that's because his head weighs 50 more pounds than his body.
I feel
That's
like such a dick for laughing at that.
I laugh too. I laugh too.
All right, what you got next?
Let's stay on the Raw topic. I want to talk about the CM Punk promo. The last segment with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. It felt like a dark segment to me because for a second before they went to commercial break, I wasn't sure if the show was over or not.
Right, me too.
Then we come back to the show and Cody Rhodes is on the sitting down in the middle of the ring cutting a promo, and I'm like, this feels like an after segment after the show, a dark segment.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mhm.
CM Punk comes out, and we kind of shoot messages during the show. And Dark, you had an interesting comment about the CM Punk promo that I wanted to ask you about. Did you mention something about CM Punk like messing up on this promo, or what were your thoughts on that last
It's
segment?
it happened during CM Punk's part. It very easily could have been either one of them that missed their cue. But essentially,
Mhm.
what happened is Cody said his piece, he turned and left, and then I don't know if the entire promo was supposed to end there, which is what it looked like, and Punk just needed to have the last word. So he went to grab him and he missed and had to re-grab him, and then he comes in and he stumbles through what he's gonna say, and by the end of Punk's, there was crickets in the audience during that final Punk segment. So when he tried to leave, I mean, I'm glad Cody saved it because the crowd was more into it at the end of his bit. But
Mhm.
the, the final CM Punk part of that promo, you could hear a pin drop.
So I had thoughts on this as well. Um, the part of him missing the jacket and having to reach for it, I think that was just a botch. I don't fault it really anybody. one-sided. I think it was just one of those situations where he just didn't grab him correctly and had to reach again. I mean, it happens to the best of us.
Hmm.
I mean, how many times have you've missed something and you immediately went back and grabbed it for whatever fucking reason, right? So I'm not going to fault that, but I will say, let me play this for you. What if the reason there were crickets on Punk's part is because after the Cody beatdown and shit, and after all that, and after Punk came out, it kind of felt like he was trying to turn a little heelish there on the hometown boy. So why the fuck would you do anything other than just sit there? I mean, obviously he got the pop whenever he said the bad news is it's going to be me, but other than that, it was crickets, like you said. At that point, the crowd's going, I don't want to see you now, and maybe that's what they were going for.
I don't know. I think you would have. I guess they wouldn't necessarily voice displeasure because it is Punk, but still, I still think, because Cody's the hometown boy, that if that was the sentiment, there would have been boos.
I don't know, because everybody's so wanting to be on Punk's side, and with Cody being in Atlanta, and that's Cody's town. He's made it very clear that's his town. Maybe they were just too indifferent on it that they couldn't respond to it as they wanted. But I'm right there with y'all. To me, going back and watching it today, it felt like all this wasn't supposed to happen, and a lot of it was ad-libbed.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the case. Maybe it was one of those things of, oh shit, we need 10 more minutes. Go grab Punk, have him go out there with Cody. They could work well off each other, which Punk can work well off damn near anybody but fucking Hulk Hogan, brother. So maybe it was one of those situations where they just needed 10 more minutes because fucking Jey Uso didn't fucking waste those 10 fucking minutes yeeting on everybody for fucking 20 goddamn minutes already.
Dude, I was so pissed. I was so pissed that we waited through that entire fucking entrance and all he did was announce himself for the Royal Rumble. Like, fuck you. We could have had an entire match during that fucking thing. He just all he had to do was he could have even done it from backstage. Hey, I'm in the Royal Rumble. I'm gonna win that shit. And that would have been, they could have put a whole new fucking match on during his segment. It was such bullshit.
Or they're going to make more people sit in the front row and be like, hey, these guys are here from Friday Night SmackDown and NXT and Monday Night Raw. And here's a random legend that's backstage tonight, but we had him out here anyway.
Yeah, here's Quavo, who would rather be doing any fucking thing else than waving to the camera right then. Did you see him? He was all up like, yeah, yeah. And when he thought the camera was gone, he sat down and went right back to his phone. He didn't give two fucks about he just knew he had an obligation he had to fulfill.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
my question still stands on who the fuck is Cuervo?
Quavo, he's
one of the
biggest
Migos.
Yeah, one of the biggest rappers in Atlanta from the Migos. They've been making music for years. Like I was listening to them when I was like in high school, I think. But
and then one of them died, within the last 2 years or so, and they've kind of gone on.
Yeah, and that was just, I think, to show that, oh, look at us, look at the WWE, we're hip, we're cool. They're trying to get more of like, I feel like the teenage crowd or some of the older kids,
right,
to to get their eyes on the product, because Quavo's been around in music for years and years. So I think they're trying to tap into that older crowd market with all these guys showing them on their TV.
I don't want to keep tapping backwards some because I didn't know who the fuck he was.
Mm-hmm.
Now you fucking bring James Hetfield out on that fucking show. Oh, I don't know exactly who the fuck he is. Like fucking that.
Yeah, and then I noticed that 2 Chainz was like the theme song to the video game, and that's why they had him there. So it's just a lot of.
The only thing I know about 2 Chainz, and he goes on all his songs going 2 Chainz. That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I'm fucking white, son. You understand? White. WITE, white. There's no H in that motherfucker. I'm so white.
He's almost translucent, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but did you guys like that how they did that last segment? Kind of felt like a dark segment.
Yeah,
No pun
something was
intended.
off about it. Either it was thrown
Yeah.
together, or my opinion is the promo was supposed to end when Cody turned away the first time. That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, they got their point across. It was a good segment, but I felt like it dragged for a little bit too long. Like they could have done that in like less, maybe half the time they were out there.
Yeah.
They could have done it on be serious. The attack on Cody should have closed the show. That last shot of Sammy and Kevin standing over Cody, that should have been the end of the show.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would have told the perfect story that the baby face is down and that the heel has the advantage going into the pay-per-view matches.
Well, for the people in the arena, it didn't end there because after the camera shut off, Carmelo Hayes attacked Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get behind Carmelo Hayes. I don't know what it is. It's either
he was pushed too fast on NXT, and then he got to the main roster. They tried to do the same thing.
Yeah. He hasn't met the hype.
Oh.
All right, are we done with this one? Throw it to our last commercial break and then come back for some more.
Favorite segment of the show. Logan Paul is always the topic of conversation.
All right, well let's throw it to our last commercial break and then come back and talk about dumb shit. Be right back.
Talking about dumb shit.